in the world does a bulimic alcoholic woman end up publishing a book about style and manners?
You guys, I'm here with Laura Martella.
Author Laura Martella is here.
Meet Gentleman Norman and Laura Martella.
And become a leading clean food expert, teaching people to change their lives through the food they eat. My answer?
Still. You see me fly, you know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it.
It's the power of God's grace.
The wrong guy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on my podcast, The Laura Martella Show, where we talk all things health, hope, and gratitude. This is episode 6. I can't believe it, Wayne. Yay. I'm having a ton of fun doing this and sharing not only health tips. I like to throw in a little Bible and a lot of data or science or industry experts info for you. And that's what I plan on doing today. I'm going to talk about how food can affect our emotional and mental well-being. There's new research out there, and I'm going to share lots of information. I listened to Dr. Mark Hyman's podcast recently, and I'm passionate about clean food. I am such a big believer in functional medicine, but listening to doctors talk for 45 minutes is hard to follow. So I wrote down some bullet points for you that I will share with you. And what it all comes down to, y'all, I've been on this journey for over 10 years because of my food allergies. And I am highly allergic to many things, but the one that gets me the most are man-made chemicals. My allergies manifest as 3-day migraines and crazy bloating, like so uncomfortable with bloating. So I try my best to avoid chemicals, which means I eat clean. That is how I became the clean food expert. I work with Parkinson's patients who have to they have to take their medicine at very specific times with food and without food. And research shows that if they eat the way I teach everyone how to eat, it can alleviate their symptoms. That is how powerful food is, y'all. And I want to say this. I was talking to a new client today, and I talk so much, obviously. I found myself saying this, and I don't know if I've said it on the podcast to you. When I found out about all of my food allergies over 10 years ago, I walked out of the doctor's office thinking, okay, I managed to get sober by following directions. I can follow this doctor's directions and I'll feel better and eliminate migraines. Well, that did not happen because there's so many chemicals hidden in our foods. And it took me over 2 years to figure this out and to learn through lots of expensive doctor's appointments, lots of sick days of migraines. But when I finally drilled down and was able to completely eliminate chemicals, my skin, my body, and my brain transformed. I did not know how bad I felt till I started feeling good. And I want to talk a minute. We're going, as I said, to get into emotional and mental health. But Okay, my skin. I had severe rosacea, like red and like acne on my face. And I lived in San Diego. I had to make my facial appointments a year in advance. I was religious about my monthly facials. When I started eating clean, my rosacea went away. Crazy. I was probably walking around with 7 to 10 pounds of bloat, went away. That brain fog and anxiety, and I just have to admit, bitchiness. I mean, I was a bitch. I felt like crap and didn't know it. And I just was amazed how good I could feel through changing the foods I eat. So please, please know that I've been through the trial and error for you. And what I teach you, I can back it up through renowned functional medicine doctors. And basically, this way of eating is known as the Mediterranean diet. The problem with me just telling you, eat the Mediterranean way, is Mediterranean diet is now just one more marketing buzzword that big food uses to sell their products. So we want you to start paying attention to the ingredients on your foods. Okay? So before I get into all of my bullet points from this doctor's podcast, I was just fluffing the set, my house, before Wayne got here. And you all know, look at this. Can you see this, Wayne, in that camera? So my friend Mary Knight owns Restoration Imports here on St. Simon's Island, and they did my hardwood floors. They have got the most beautiful home accessories, furniture. They have outdoor furniture. They have bedding. But just to keep it fresh on the podcast and to give Restoration Imports a plug, since it's my favorite furniture store here, I always have different pillows. All right, this is a weighted blanket. It weighs 15 pounds. I matched my little top with it. And then I love these pillows. While I was fluffing and, paying attention to how everything would look, I started thinking, we spend so much time, I know you do, I'm admitting I do, on wanting to look our best. We want our kids to go to the best schools. We probably buy the best cars we can afford. What kind of vodka do you drink? I bet you it's a nice, expensive brand. We spend the most we can afford on nice vacations. Our homes look good. We buy really nice clothes. You know where I'm going with this? But we don't insist on high quality foods. And I really hope through educating you and motivating you and encouraging you and just nudging you that you will begin to think of eating high quality food as a way of taking the best care of yourself. Okay? So let's get into Dr. Mark Hyman's podcast on mental health and emotional well-being. And we're going to talk about the standard American diet. I spent a lot of time this week Googling, as I always do. I Google And then I also look up Bible stuff. And there's nothing good out there that I can find about the standard American diet. And they refer to it as SAD, S-A-D, Standard American Diet. So here's the deal. There's research clearly showing how our toxic standard American diet is a key driver to our mental health crisis and how we can eat and supplement our way out of many mental health issues. First of all, we need to balance our blood sugar. And I have talked about this before, you guys, about, my big stickler is learn to drink black coffee. Because when you go in to your coffee shop and you order the Frappalapa creme de la creme, whatever, y'all, here's my little preaching moment. You might as well go to Dairy Queen because you're turning your coffee shop into like a candy store or a Dairy Queen. And when you put those chemicals, and even if you're putting a little of your flavored creamer and sugar, it's still the creamer turns to sugar and the chemicals, but you're going to have a sugar high and a sugar low. And sorry for repeating myself, but it's worth saying a lot. If you're feeding your children sugary cereals first thing in the morning, they too are going to have a sugar high and a sugar low. So Dr. Mark Hyman says the first way to eat and supplement our way out of many mental health issues is to balance our blood sugar. What to eat to beat depression and mental health issues. All right, here we go. I'm sorry, but this is what I say all the time. Eat whole foods. Nutrient-dense diet. Incorporate protein and healthy fats in every meal. Remember how I show you, like I probably eat this most days, is eggs in the morning and a good fat, whether it's a mashed up avocado, some nut butter. You want to have a mixture of a high quality animal and plant protein. So that's why I'm really, really big on the eggs and the avocados. And keep your carbs to fruits and vegetables. Here is another one. Eliminate ultra-processed foods containing refined white flour and sugar. Here's the list of the foods that contain the refined flour and sugar. Breads, cereals, cornflakes, frosted flakes, puffed wheat, granola, durum wheat, based pastas, bagels, and pastries. Do you see how we got to rethink breakfast? As I've said before, another really good alternative is, I'm not a huge fan of, if you struggle with bloating, or even if you don't, I mean, oatmeal is better than these things, but oatmeal, there's some research out there. It's not the best, but it's okay. I recommend a preservative-free rice cake with a preservative-free nut butter, drizzling some organic, raw, local honey on it. Okay, you want to eliminate all foods containing high fructose corn syrup, all artificial sweeteners. You want to avoid, this is for your mental and emotional health, you want to avoid processed fruit juices. They're often loaded with sugar. And I mean, I remember when I was a little girl, I would start my morning with Tropicana orange juice. And we thought that was healthy. And this is an example of how long we have been lied to by the food industry. Okay, it is advised to eat protein. We want amino acids as they are the building blocks of our hormones and neurotransmitters. Here's where it's going to get a little hard to follow. We want tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin. Now, any of you that have been on this mental health journey and maybe have been on antidepressants or seen a therapist, which I saw many before I got sober because I didn't know what was wrong with me. And they talk a lot about serotonin. So we want the tryptophan, which is the precursor to serotonin. And a good protein is pasture-raised turkey, chicken, eggs, almonds, and peanuts. We want to have tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine, neuroepinephrine, and epinephrine. Where the foods that you'll find these nutrients are grass-fed, regeneratively raised beef. I had one extra coffee, can you tell? Because we were having some technical issues, so I was dancing around and accidentally had an extra coffee. You can get tyrosine from lamb, fish, chicken, nuts, seeds, eggs, and beans. It is suggested that you consume brain and mood supporting nutrients, which are omega-3s, salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, herring, and halibut. So I have a lot more science-based suggestions on foods to eat when we get back. And I just want to leave you with this. Hunger is never a part of getting healthy. There are so many foods that our bodies need on a daily basis. My program is not about dieting. You're not going to feel hungry. It is about learning how to feed yourself well and making sure that you are satisfied. We'll be right back. As your clean food expert, I am here to tell you that hunger is never a part of getting healthy. It is time to stop dieting and start eating. Okie dokie. More on things to consume for brain and mood supporting nutrients. We talked about omega-3s. We want mono unsaturated fat, which is extra virgin olive oil, avocados, and olives. On the olives, y'all, this is what I would do. Rinse them. They're packed in preservatives. They're packed in things. Unless you have a super high-end grocery store. Like my friends in LA, Air One, their olive bar, I totally trust them. But friends here on St. Simon's Island, if you're buying jarred olives, rinse them. Just pour out what you're going to have and rinse them with water. Unless you find a brand that's just packed in olive oil and probably garlic and sea salt, I'm fine with that. But you don't want those chemicals. Here's what happens. We're told as Americans, okay, eat olives or dark chocolate is great for you. The problem is if you're eating dark chocolate, like Lindt dark chocolate or even Godiva dark chocolate, the chemicals that are in that dark chocolate are just completely taking away all the good that a high quality dark chocolate would give you. All right, another brain and mood supporting nutrient is choline. And we can get choline from pastured egg yolks, liver. Does anybody like liver? I actually do. I like chopped chicken liver. It is amazing. You can get it from peanuts and cruciferous vegetables. We also want to ingest inositol. And you can get that from oranges, grapefruit, chickpeas, lentils, almonds, leafy greens, and chicken liver. Okay, we're also want to consume B vitamins. And there's several. You want B6. You can get that from wild-caught salmon and pasture-raised chicken. Folate, which we get from dark leafy greens, kale, pasture-raised eggs. Vitamin B12 we get from animal protein. All right, y'all, I'm going to tell you this little story about me. And again, I am a clean food expert, and I work in conjunction with doctors and nutritionists, sometimes with trainers, because doctors and nutritionists will tell you what to do, but you don't get the daily support and the accountability that I give you. But I don't tell you to be vegan or not be vegan. I don't tell you what to eat. I basically help you eliminate chemicals, and I share with you information that I get, but I'm not giving you medical advice. And on the animal protein and B12, I think this is a good time just to share my experience. I lived in Southern California for a very long time, and I was around a lot of vegans, and I love animals. And I had a feeling, because I'm highly allergic to soy, that I personally probably couldn't be on a vegan diet. So I just know my body, and my body, I never really felt satisfied. Like if I would have a lunch and not have an animal protein, I'd be hungry in an hour. So I kind of knew this. I'm obviously very self-aware about how I feel when I eat because of my food allergies and sensitivities. But this is what I did. I allowed myself to watch, and I still don't like factory farming at all. But I actually allowed myself to watch these horrific videos for months and months. I didn't turn the other cheek, and I watched them. And one day I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna be vegan. And I felt great for like 3 months. I mean, I felt amazed. I couldn't believe how good I felt for about 3 months. And I felt like my skin looked good, feeling great. I started getting really, really tired, like exhausted, tired. But it was during the time that I actually went through a breakup and moved from Los Angeles to my home here on the coast of Georgia. So I thought maybe it was just, sadness. But I had my blood work done, and my vitamin B12 was so low. It's usually, I think the healthy range is 115 to 185. I was at 85. And I had to get on vitamin B12 shots once a month for 6 months. So I am back eating animal protein, and I'm sorry to disappoint my vegan friends, and God bless you if that works for you. I still wish there was a better way it's like it's man, in my opinion, it's man's greed that wants to turn these animals into like a factory. And so that's just what happened to me. I don't want to save the world and harm my body. I have to put my health and wellness first, and my body likes animal protein. And I do eat protein at every meal. And I'm telling you, for me, it is a game changer. I was working out and I lost muscle. I was just soft everywhere and exhausted. So whatever works for you and your body, I just really cannot stress enough that you get to do you. And what works for me is not going to work for you. This is why I believe online get healthy programs don't work for a number of reasons, but it's not one size fits all. And health cannot be cookie cutter. So the goal in my program, in working with you, and the goal on this podcast is to start paying attention to the ingredients that you're putting in your body, and then become so self-aware that you know what works for you. I hope that makes sense to you. All right, so we need vitamin B12, and we get that from animal protein. We need vitamin D. This we can get from mushrooms. Mushrooms are really having a moment right now. There's mushroom coffee. Mushrooms are great for you. And a really quick little side dish, or you can top your burgers or your steaks. I love to take mushrooms, onions, and I'm not a big garlic fan, even though it is healthy for you. I don't like garlic breath. I used to eat garlic all the time, and then I was close to somebody that had the worst garlic breath. Oh my God. And I thought, I am just around too many people every day to walk around with that kind of breath. So no garlic for me. But you can do garlic. I substitute shallots. Wherever anything says garlic, I'll just chop up a shallot. So you take mushrooms, onions, shallots, or garlic. Saute them in olive oil. This is a great topping, you guys. You can put it in your, do up a batch and then have it. You can throw it in your omelets. You can top your burgers, your steaks, your chicken with it. It's just a great flavoring, and you're going to be getting vitamin D. Another source of vitamin D is sunshine. And lately I have been reading that if you're having trouble sleeping, one hack is to make sure that you get morning sunshine. Get out and get some sunshine. And I know it's harder in the winter, but spring is here and summer is on the way. Don't be afraid to get a little vitamin D. We also need magnesium, which we get from nuts, seeds, and beans. And we need zinc, which we get from pumpkin seeds and oysters. Okay, before I get into this next category, which is all the antioxidants that we need for our emotional and mental health, I just want to reiterate what I said. Do you see all these foods that actually nourish our body and our brain that we need on a daily basis? So I just want to reiterate to you, you've got to eat. The definition of food is nourishing the body. And this processed stuff and fast food is not nourishing. It's not what we call nutrient dense. Okay, we need antioxidants. This is vitamin C you can find in kiwi, oranges, and red bell peppers. Vitamin E, almonds, sunflower seeds, hazelnuts, spinach, CoQ10, which we get in meat, chicken hearts. We need alpha lipoic acid. Do you see why I made some bullet points? I'm not boring, you guys. Wayne, is this boring? Okay. I went to great lengths to try to just give you the facts and not all the stuff. All right. Alpha lipoic acid, which you get from spinach, broccoli, and red meat. And then there are micronutrients that we need, which is selenium. You get those from Brazil nuts and seafood. Magnesium is a micronutrient that we need. Spinach, chard, pumpkin seeds, almonds, avocados. Zinc, oysters, grass-fed beef. Okay, prebiotic fiber, which comes in artichokes. Jerusalem artichokes are the kind he recommends. You want cooked and cooled sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are one of my favorite foods to recommend to everybody for a number of reasons. So, some people don't like to microwave. I do, because I guess basically you have to pick your poison. We can't do everything perfectly, but I microwave a sweet potato for 7 minutes. That's fast food, you guys. And sweet potatoes have so much fiber, so many nutrients. They are so good for us. So that is, and I prefer that you put olive oil, salt, and pepper on your sweet potato, not butter. I'm just not a fan because I'm just not. But I'm not against butter. I just think olive oil is healthier. But you want a good butter that is real butter, okay? No chemicals in your butter, so read the labels. So back to these sweet potatoes. Okay, so that's the hot sweet potatoes. But there is newer research, and of course, he recommended cooled sweet potatoes. It is so good for your gut microbiome. So when you're roasting your sweet potatoes or microwaving your sweet potatoes, go ahead and do an extra sweet potato or two and chop them up. Keep them in your refrigerator. You can toss them in salads. Cold sweet potatoes are great for your gut. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, and also for the prebiotic fiber, you want garlic, onions, asparagus, and bananas. So that's prebiotic. And then there are probiotics. The probiotics you get from grass-fed goat or sheep yogurt. Again, I want you to read the ingredients, because if you're getting a really big food sheep yogurt, you're getting a ton of chemicals. So, we really, really have to do our shopping. And this is part of what I do in my programs. We go to the market together. I help you find the brands that are going to fit your needs or your family's needs. And then it is a lot in the beginning. But once you have your routine down of the brands and the foods that you're going to have on a weekly basis, it's like a business. It's like a restaurant. You're just keeping your commercial kitchen stocked. You're keeping your home kitchen stocked. And then we also need polyphenols and phytonutrients, which are the blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. Green tea is full of phytonutrients. And y'all, you need to hold me accountable. I know this. I couldn't tell you the last time I've had green tea. Wayne, I think I need to start. I might eliminate one coffee a day and do green tea. Let's start drinking a green tea, y'all. Apples, onions, kale, and dark chocolate. Okay. Dark chocolate has phytonutrients, but remember, you've got to find a clean brand. And I will go ahead and tell you, I don't sell products. I don't get paid to recommend products. I'll tell you the best, most available dark chocolate that I know of right now that I recommend is called Hu Kitchen, Hu Kitchen. And I love this company. It's siblings. They founded this, and the name Hu is, they chose that name because they called it getting back to human. They also have grain-free crackers that are delicious. So look up Hu Kitchen, and I do not only approve, but recommend their dark chocolate. It's the only brand at Harris Teeter's that I recommend. And on the dark chocolate note, friends in Los Angeles, friends in Atlanta, friends. Just because it is at Whole Foods does not mean it's healthy. Oh, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. More on chocolate. What in the world is a clean food expert, and why do you need me? Well, in today's information overload, I am going to help you learn how to decipher misleading food labels, not the marketing buzzwords that get you to buy the product, but I will leave your home with clean food brands, simple food prepping recipes, and I'm going to back it up with daily accountability and weekly sessions with me. I've got your back. I got on a dark chocolate roll, and a couple of things. Like I was saying, just because it's at Whole Foods doesn't mean it's healthy. Just because it's at a health food store doesn't mean it's healthy. And y'all, Air One, which is an amazing store in Los Angeles, delicious brands. I can find a lot of really clean brands there, but it doesn't mean every brand there is my definition of clean. And Laura Martella's definition of clean is no man-made chemicals. Zero. Okay, so on Air One in Los Angeles, let me tell you this. Air One is the only rotisserie chicken that I have found in the LA area that does not have a bunch of chemicals in it. It is olive oil, sea salt, and fresh thyme, and it is amazing. They carry Hu Kitchen. You can get your dark chocolate there. And there is another dark chocolate brand called Pacha, Pacha, And it is available here at our local health food store here on St. Simon's Island. But I want you to start reading ingredients in everything and don't negate the good with all the chemicals. All right, now. So these are all the things, I've been talking about all the things that we need. And then this is what is recommended for your emotional and mental health to decrease or eliminate. And notice we're saying decrease or eliminate. I want to set you up for success. And if you are depressed, if you are anxious, I just can't encourage you enough that baby steps are steps. And you can change. And you got to give yourself so much credit for even listening to this podcast. Just start thinking about the things that you do right. So here's the things to decrease or eliminate. Processed foods or junk foods. Foods containing hydrogenated oils. Here's that list again that Dr. Hyman gave us in the beginning. Crackers, chips, cakes, candies, cookies, donuts, and processed cheese. Okay, you're eliminating hydrogenated oils. All right, so on the cracker, look, I was going to kill somebody one day if I did not find some kind of a chip. We need a chip. We need some salt. We need some crunch. There are brands out there that are potatoes, olive oil, and sea salt. I promise you. You just got to read it, and I can't think of it right now off the top of my head because I don't do those chips. I do actually grain-free tortilla chips. But for crackers, Hugh Kitchen. For chips, if you want a tortilla chip, I recommend Siete. They make grain-free chips and grain-free cookies. Okay, these cakes, candies, cookies, donuts, and processed cheese. No, we want you to fill up on something else. We want to decrease or eliminate industrial processed or man-made oils. I always talk about this. Corn oil, safflower oil, peanut oil, canola oil. On the oils, here are my 3 that are A-OK. Extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, and avocado oil. Avocado oil, see, here's the thing. Restaurants will use canola oil for high heat, and they use it because it's cheaper. But you can use avocado oil if you're doing something on a high heat. So stock your kitchen with those 3 oils. Another thing to decrease or avoid, I've never heard it worded like this. He says large predatory fish, as they contain mercury and other inflammatory toxins in unacceptable amounts. So these fish to avoid are swordfish and tuna. Decrease or avoid swordfish or tuna. Dairy, avoid dairy. He says substitute unsweetened almond milk or hazelnut milk. Okay, now the reason why he's saying avoid dairy is if you take the time to look at the ingredients in your milk, you'll see why he's saying to avoid it, because there are so many chemicals in it. And these chemicals, your body doesn't know what to do with the chemicals. And this can cause inflammation of the brain, which is going to cause anxiety and depression. All right. I didn't say this, Dr. Mark Hyman said this, but if you are struggling with depression or emotional or mental issues, decrease or avoid alcohol. And as a recovering alcoholic, I know this all too well. Alcohol is a depressant. It is. And if you're on medication for anxiety or depression, I am almost certain that it says do not mix with alcohol. So take note of that. If you're not on medication, just know that alcohol doesn't really help you sleep. It might help you momentarily, but you're going to wake up in the middle of the night. Additionally, it's a ton of sugar. So you're going to have that sugar high and that sugar low. And it actually is a depressant. I wish I could think of something to end on a positive note on. I don't want to be a buzzkill, but let me tell you, y'all, you can get high on feeling good. You can get high on knowing you're taking good care of yourself. And let's just review. This is off the top of my head, but think of all those foods that I mentioned that are recommended for your well-being. I mean, there's red meat, there's chicken, there's nuts, there's fruit, there's berries, there's avocados. Who doesn't like guacamole? You know, a mashed up avocado with olive oil, salt, and pepper, some diced tomatoes, some onions, some grain-free chips. What else do we need? Those sweet potatoes. This is what I tell my clients that tend to binge at night. I just say, make yourself a sweet potato. After you eat a sweet potato, you are going to be full, and you just gave yourself so many good nutrients with about 100 calories. So when you cannot, you know how we get in the kitchen and we just can't get satisfied? Make a sweet potato. They're good for you. So you can feel good knowing that you're making good decisions for yourself. And I am here to help you. Please, if you like this podcast, if this was beneficial, please share it with someone else. And please subscribe below on my YouTube channel. You can follow me at laura.martella on Instagram and Laura Martella on Facebook. Make it a good week and make it a healthy week. You can do it.